Hi everyone, I'm Shawna, and today we are getting into some straight decluttering of my collection. I'm trying to downsize all of my belongings this year, and it's about time I face the size of my makeup collection. I have too many things, and a lot of things I just don't use. So I am going to do my absolute best to be as honest as I can about what I use and what I don't. Now, for my own peace of mind, in this video, there will be a large maybe pile happening. I can already see it in my mind because with many of the things that I own, if I'm not wearing it but I spent good money on it, I have a hard time letting it go. So I will put products in my maybe section, and I will come back at the end of the video to talk about everything that ends up in that section. We are beginning with foundations. I know it's a bit out of order. I'll get to some primers next, maybe combine some categories together, but this probably won't be a 50% declutter. This is an honest revision of my collection based on what I use, what I like and don't. So let's get into it. These are all of the foundations that I own. I have 15 foundations here, and this is actually really surprising to me. I didn't realize I had this much because all my stuff was just kind of in different sections. So I'm going to pick out what I know I'm going to keep. So this CoverGirl foundation and this CoverGirl foundation and this Tarte foundation are my summer shades, and I do really like both of these, so I'm going to keep both of those. These two foundations here are my absolute favorite foundations of all time. These are currently in my winter shades, so I'm going to keep both of these too. This Physicians Formula foundation I am currently panning, so this guy will also stay. These two guys right here, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation and the Anastasia foundation stick. I hate this, so this is gonna go. But this right here, I've only worn one time and I did not like it. I got it in the summer, so I'm gonna put this in a maybe pile to try because quite honestly, I don't remember exactly how it wears, and I need to know how it wears in the winter time before I can make that decision about if I can cut it or not. Okay, so these 5 up here are all foundations I've never tried before. The MAC Studio Fix Fluid, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, the Maybelline Superstay, this Becca foundation, the Ultimate Coverage, and this ColourPop No Filter foundation. I've never tried them, so I'm gonna have to do that before I can say one way or another. So I'm gonna keep these. And I do like this Pro Matte, so I'm gonna keep this one as well. That belt. And then these two e.l.f. ones, I've only tried a couple of times, so I'm gonna try these out and see what happens. This next section, there's truly not going to be anything that I'm really going to get rid of. What I'm really noticing is that I have a lot of stuff in my collection that I've never tried. These 4 primers, the Milk Hydro Grip, the e.l.f. Jelly Pop, the Infallible Matte, and the Pure 4-in-1, I have never tried before, so I'm going to keep those. And then this e.l.f. primer here, I do like it, but I'm currently panning this Nude by Nature primer. So all of these I'm going to keep. And out of the concealers here, I am currently using this concealer. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest, but I'm almost done. So when I finish with this guy, I'm going to move on to these e.l.f. concealers, but I am going to get rid of this Milani primer. It is so old. I don't even want to admit to how old this is. It just needs to go. I don't use it. Everything else I'm keeping. Next up are powders. And in all honesty, the biggest declutter of this collection is probably going to come in terms of my eyeshadows and lipsticks. For this section, everything is, again, like new or I'm using. And this is the other... Okay, this is a powder that I'm thinking about because I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's in a really big tub and I have so many other powders to try and to use up. This e.l.f. under eye setting powder I'm also going to put into the maybe section because I don't think I'm a huge fan of it, but I really want to try it a couple more times to make sure. Everything else, I have these 4 pressed powders, these Spiraloose, and I know I have an Hourglass powder around here somewhere, but I just can't find it. It's a mini. So for now, I'm going to keep everything else. Next up is this random little box of stuff. Off the top, this halo scope is... So this is the halo scope in Moonstone. Okay, I was just sitting here just... You can barely see that. This is gonna go on the chopping block. These 2 eyeshadow pencils, first of all, this is old. The newest it could be is 2016, but it's performing in a garbage way, so it's just going to be thrown out. And then this No Budge shadow stick, I don't like the way it performs, so this one is also going to go. As for everything else, there's truthfully not going to be a ton in here that I'm going to get rid of. So I'm just going to take a peek. Okay, this is a Joe Fresh blush in, it's the color Adjust blush. I don't think, oh, this is just in the color pink. It's broken and like, it's just super pink. So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't wear that. Oh my gosh, yes. Everything else is a keep. I have a couple of highlighters in here and a couple of blushes. Everything else is good. These are all my palettes. This is probably going to be the other area where if I get rid of something, it's going to be here. Okay. This is a bit overwhelming. I'm not really sure what to do with all of these. Okay. I just have to pick a place and start. So this Too Faced palette, it's the inside. I don't wear it and I hate the smell. I do like some pinks and purples, but it's not going to be this palette if I want that kind of color story. So this is going to go. Subculture, also on the top. We're very familiar with this. I don't wear it. I just don't. So I'm going to get rid of that. The Flutterby palette from ColourPop. I do really like this color story, so I'm going to keep this one. Ooh, the Frozen palette and the Going Coconuts palette. This is beautiful. I love this. Keeping it. Same thing with the Frozen palette. I haven't really had a chance to use it. I love it. I love the color story, so we're going to keep that one. Also, a favorite of mine is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. I bought it this year, well, in 2019. I can't believe it took me this long to try it. I do know that my color preferences have really changed over the past 2 years, so I'm going to keep this one. And there are these two Physician Formula palettes. I am also going to keep these ones. I do like them and they're really good drugstore options. There's a couple of dud shades, but in all honesty, I also have not worn these a ton. I've tried them out here and there, but I want to use them more and get a better feel for them and see about that. I do like the color story, so I'm going to keep these guys. Okay, this Juvia's Place Masquerade palette. I bought it and never used it, so it, in my opinion, just has to go. The Strawberry Shake and the Orange You Glad palettes are both fairly new. I got them in the last 6 months. I'm going to keep this one and the orange one. Okay, this other Juvia's Place palette, I don't love all the colors in here, and this color story doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So this one is gonna go on the chopping block. I'm gonna have to try and really make some time to try and use this to see if I can work with it. And this Huda Beauty palette is also a bit of a surprise because I bought this last December and I was intending to use this in the month of February. And I have not been loving it like I used to. And for me, this would be a really quick turnaround time to have a palette and then like go from loving it to being not so crazy about it. So this one also has to go on the chopping block to see exactly how I feel about this and to try and use it. The Modern Renaissance, I used this in in January for my palette of the month. I still like this. I really do. So I'm going to keep this. Oh, can you tell that I'm getting less and less sure about the palettes I want to keep? The Just Peachy Mattes, this also has to go on the chopping block. This color story is not really something that I love much anymore. So I'm going to have to force myself to use it to see if I like it still. This Sweet Talk palette, I'm actually still liking this color story, so I'm going to keep it. And this is the Double Entendre palette. Still like this. Gonna keep it. This Dream Street palette, I'm gonna keep this one as well. When I first purchased this, and I got it in the mail, I was a little surprised as to its inside. And to me, it looks different in person than on the website. So after I purchased it, I was a bit disappointed in the color story and I didn't use it for a while. And then now that I'm seeing it again and how I feel about eyeshadows and the colors that I like, I have different preferences. So I am liking many of these colors more than I did before. So I'm going to keep this. This is an empty palette and I filled it with some of my favorite eyeshadows. This is my taste right now. And I love this. I use this all the time. And I do have other single shadows. I don't know if I'll get to them today and sorting through them. I'll have to think about it. But this is the color story that I'm loving. This is the palette of my dreams. But I say that very lightly because preferences change all the time. So this is my right now ideal palette. And I love it. Oh boy, this palette right here. I'm going to pass on it. I actually can't believe I'm saying this. But one of the things I love now, which is like a hallmark of my preferences, are one shadow looks. And I don't see myself using anything other than this like gold here as a one shadow look. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then this guy here, and then this guy here are my single shadows, my other single shadows. And I know that I have to go through these eventually, because there's some that I have never used since I purchased them, and I don't want to have stuff just sitting around. So I don't know. I don't think I'm quite ready to tackle these yet. So I think for now, I'm just going to put these away and, you know, look at them another day. So by that standard, these are the palettes that I am in all likelihood giving away or on the chopping block. So that's 7 palettes. I'm really surprised by that number, to be quite honest. And I'm keeping these guys right here. So that is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm keeping 13. That still feels like so much, plus these 2 shadows, books of shadows. And I'm going to tally up everything and give you some final numbers in the end.